Hi everyone, it's Cameron, the Dungeon Master for the Arbitrary Hero Waterdeep campaign, running Max's Mad Mythic Mercenaries through the streets of the City of Splendor with another recap. This will be the 7th and final part of the multi-section Chapter 4 recap, as I've been running the Alexandrian remix. That made Chapter 4 long enough that I need to do multiple sections to keep the length of each video manageable. Last time the party got their hands on the Third Eye of Galore, with the Stone of Galore fully reformed, the group was able to finally ask it some questions. Namely, confirming that Neverember's enigma is indeed the embezzled gold Lord Daggalt Neverember stole from Waterdeep. The party also received cryptic hints that the location of Neverember's enigma is in the Brandith family tomb, which is where Lord Neverember's late wife is buried. The gang then learned the identity of the fourth and final key to the vault is the Waterdeep Brightsword. This crystalline scimitar is the prize for the annual citywide Brightsword Day tournament, getting passed from winning team to winning team. The current owners of the Waterdeep Brightsword are the company of Crazed Venturers, a famous adventuring group led by the wife and husband team of Penelope and Dowell Harpel. Penelope is a powerful mage, her husband is both a werebear barbarian and tinkerer, the dwarven priest of Moradin, Regmar Truecrest, the halfling thief Calda Softcheeks, and Philianus the elven archer round out the adventuring company. A powerful group that has famously fought evil and defended the weak throughout the land, the company of Crazed Venturers would be a formidable group of foes to face directly, so it's time to plan another heist. Holly Rees delicately used her connections amongst the Waterdeevian nobles in order to get information about the Harpels. She's able to learn that the Harpels, being wealthy adventurers, do have a home away from home in Waterdeep called Paliset Hall, and that there is a party at Paliset Hall where the most hoity-toity of Waterdeevian noble families are invited to celebrate the winter solstice. But not the winter solstice in Faerun, which is several months away. Instead, they celebrate the winter solstice of some faraway world named Alexandria. While Holly Rees works to be gifted an invitation to the party matching her status, Alu begins investigating the Paliset Hall grounds itself. She and Sprocket are able to learn that Paliset Hall isn't located in the Seaward, not really, but rather is a place in the Feywild that is accessible and visible from the Seaward, as if two overlaid locations existed in both planes at once. Sprocket, Alu, and Holly try and devise methods for entering Paliset Hall, while Roland and Fen prepare for the heist itself. The research and heist prep is compounded when, upon visiting the Paliset Hall grounds the day before the winter solstice celebration, the crew aren't able to break into the hall, but they do manage to make contact with one of the ground staff. It's Albert Patate, the plucky hedge wizard that helped the crew out with escaping Xanathar's lair in their first heist for the Eye of Galore. It appears since the last time we saw Albert, he got a job managing the gardens of Paliset Hall. Albert is able to give the scoop that Penelope Harpel is in fact in possession of the Brightsword, and she's been acting strange recently. She wears the Brightsword wherever she goes, and she's been getting mean to the staff. After getting some more lay of the land intel from Albert, the group agrees to meet up with him the next day at Troll Skull Tavern. With Holly's invitation in hand, the rest of the day is spent strategizing how to get the rest of the party into Paliset Hall. Schemes were devised, risks estimated, and plans made. This was actually all made moot the next day with Albert's arrival back at Troll Skull Tavern. He'd brought with him Dowell Harpel, who was actually looking to hire the crew to heist the very bright sword they were looking to steal for themselves anyway. Dowell explained that he was worried about his wife's change in demeanor. She has grown distant, cruel, and paranoid ever since a conflict with a group of hags known as the Crestfall Coven. When they previously fought, the hags had sworn revenge against the company of Crazed Venturers, and Dowell had suspicion that the Brightsword might have been corrupted. Armed with this knowledge and personal invitations from Dowell, Holly, Alu, Sprocket, Roland, and Fen head to Paliset Hall for the solstice party. A vertigo-inducing trans-planar entrance ritual has them hop into the Feywild, and they are free to explore the hall, enjoy the party, and try to excise the Brightsword. Feeling invigorated by the latent magic of the Feywild pouring into his elven frame, Fen makes a beeline to the kitchen, meeting Anisetta, the Dryad head chef. A little flirting reveals it wasn't just Dowell or Albert that had concerns about Penelope Harpel's behavior. She'd been short with staff and acting suspiciously since owning the Bright Sword and the encounter with the hags. While Fen is seducing the staff, Holly seeks out Penelope directly, eventually finding her in the ballroom. At the same time, Alu is trailing a suspicious tiefling who leads her up to the second floor, and Alu is able to discern and learn that the Crestfall Coven themselves have also infiltrated the Solstice Party to some nefarious end. While the ladies are following leads, Roland is scouting out the other members of the Company of Crazed Venturers in order to determine their defenses, and Sprocket scouts secrets in the Sanctum. After an hour or so of partying, investigating, and trying to come up with a plan, a two-pronged approach is decided upon. The first attempt will be Holly trying to cast Geas on Penelope to get her to give up the sword willingly, while the rest of the party prevents the Company of Crazed Venturers from interfering, and the second would be a hypnotic pattern and quick hands to get the sword away from Penelope. But the plan is interrupted by Alu, Roland, and Fen stumbling upon all three members of the Crestfall Coven planning against Penelope in her bedroom. Instead, two separate fights break out at the same time. Holly's failed Geas attempt begins a brawl in the ballroom, while Sprocket and Dowell try to support her as best they can against the rest of the Company of Crazed Venturers who saw Holly assaulting Penelope. Simultaneously, Roland, Fen, and Alu fight the Crestfall Coven in a quiet, frenzied fight in the second floor. The timely intervention of friends of the party in the form of Albert Potate and Zardo save Holly from being gang stomped by Penelope's allies and buy her the time she needs to convince them something isn't right with her. During the fight, Sprocket manages to wrest the Bright Sword away from Penelope with a suicidal jump from the balcony onto her in midair, but it disappears as soon as he gets the sword away from her. While this is happening, Fen and Roland manage to slay one of the hags of the Crestfall Coven, despite the gang stomping Roland receives during the fight. The other witches retreat, and Alu and Fen discover the existence of a portal in Paliset Hall, one leading to a pocket dimension and resonating with the same energy as the Bright Sword. Reuniting our adventurers and their new and old allies do defeat Penelope, revealing that this was a simulacrum all along, and the real Penelope is trapped in said pocket dimension by the curse placed upon the Bright Sword by the Crestfall Coven. Saving Penelope Harpel from that pocket dimension, the party is finally rewarded with the Bright Sword, gaining the fourth key to the Dragon Vault and finishing Chapter 4. Finally, yay! Now it's time to prepare and retrieve all that gold from the Dragon Vault for the last part of the campaign. See you there!